4. Forbidden. Compliments that create instant attraction in women. What if the most powerful compliments you could give had nothing to do with beauty and everything to do with character? What if the words that truly captivate a woman aren't words of flattery, but words of profound recognition? Welcome back to Stoic Heart, the channel where we explore ancient wisdom for modern resilience. If you believe in building a character of substance, a simple like on this video helps spread that message to others on the same path. Today, we are going to dismantle a common misconception. Most men believe the art of the compliment is about making a woman feel good. They offer safe, generic praise about her eyes, her smile, or her beauty. If she is attractive, she has heard these words 1,000 times. They are hollow echoes, sliding off her perception without leaving a trace. A true compliment, a Stoic compliment, does not aim to flatter. It aims to see. The advice you often hear about using forbidden or secret lines is built on a flawed foundation of tricks and tactics. We are not here to learn lines. We are here to learn how to perceive. The Stoics taught that our greatest power lies in our perception, our ability to see things clearly as they are. This applies not only to life's challenges but to people. To truly compliment someone in a way that resonates is to see a flash of virtue, of strength, of unique complexity in them, and to have the courage to acknowledge it honestly. We will now explore 4 principles of profound recognition. We will not treat them as lines to memorize, but as modes of perception to cultivate. For each, we will examine the Stoic idea, witness it in a story from history in greater detail than ever before, forge it into a practical tool for your life today, and finally, we will explore the critical nuance, the line between its virtuous application and its corrupted shadow. Let's begin. Principle 1. The complement of intrigue. Acknowledging unseen depth. The first principle is rooted in the power of mystery. The generic compliment states a simple, finished fact. You are beautiful. The conversation often ends there with a simple thank you. But the compliment of intrigue opens a loop. It suggests that what you see on the surface is only the beginning of a much deeper story. It takes the form of acknowledging that there is something about her that you cannot easily categorize or define. The shallow interpretation of this is the line, "There's something about you that I can't quite figure out." But the Stoic reality is not about feigning confusion. It's about having the perception to recognize that a person's character is a deep well, and you are genuinely intrigued by its depths. This communicates something far more powerful than a simple praise of her appearance. It says, "You are not simple. You are not obvious. My mind is engaged by who you are." It makes her feel unique and seen for something more than just a pretty face. It signals that you are a man of perception, a man who looks for character, not just for pleasing aesthetics. You are not just observing her, you are actively contemplating the person in front of you. To understand the power of seeing latent potential, we must travel back to the court of King Philip II of Macedon. Philip had a son, a wild and fiery boy named Alexander. By the age of 13, Alexander was already a force of nature, but he was considered unruly and perhaps untamable. One day, a horse trader brought a magnificent stallion to the court. The horse was named Bucephalus, and he was a splendid creature, but ferocious and utterly unmanageable. He reared and kicked, and none of Philip's finest generals or horsemen could even mount him. Philip, annoyed at the waste of time, ordered the horse to be taken away. But from the crowd of onlookers, young Alexander spoke up. He claimed he could ride the horse. The court laughed. What could this boy do that seasoned warriors could not? But one man did not laugh. Aristotle, the great philosopher who had been hired by Philip to be Alexander's tutor. Aristotle had spent months with the boy, not just teaching him rhetoric and politics, but observing the very essence of his character. He saw past the boyish arrogance and perceived a mind that worked differently. He had seen Alexander's incredible power of observation and his unusual empathy. He watched as Alexander, instead of trying to dominate the horse with brute force, approached it calmly. Alexander had noticed something the generals had missed. The horse was afraid of its own shadow. With quiet confidence, Alexander took Bucephalus's reins and turned him to face the sun, so his shadow fell behind him. He spoke to the horse gently, stroking its neck until the trembling subsided. Then, in one fluid motion, he swung himself onto its back. The boy and the horse rode across the field as one, to the stunned silence and then roaring applause of the court. His father wept with pride, but Aristotle simply nodded, his perception confirmed. He saw in that moment not just a boy taming a horse, but a future king who could solve an impossible problem by seeing what others missed. His compliment to Alexander was not one of simple praise, but one of deep, continued intellectual engagement. He continued to challenge the boy, to nurture that unique quality he had perceived, to treat him not as a finished product, but as a fascinating and deep subject of study. This is the lesson for us. To compliment with intrigue is to apply the perception of an Aristotle. It is to pay close attention to the person in front of you. When she says something, listen not just to the words, but to the thought process behind them. When she acts, observe not just the action, but the motivation that drives it. Perhaps in conversation, she reveals a surprising combination of traits, a fierce ambition paired with a gentle kindness, or a sharp, analytical mind paired with a wild, artistic spirit. Instead of ignoring it, acknowledge it. You might pause, look at her thoughtfully and say, "The way your mind works is fascinating. I'm still trying to understand it." This is not a line. It's an honest observation. It is an invitation to a deeper conversation. You are telling her that you see her complexity and you are not intimidated by it. You are intrigued by it. You are not giving her a simple validation to accept or reject. You are giving her a question to explore with you. And the moment she starts to explore her own character through your eyes, she is emotionally and intellectually invested in the interaction. The nuance, genuine curiosity versus feigned mystery. The dark side of this principle is using it as a manipulative tactic to deliberately confuse a woman. The goal is not to create mystery for its own sake by being vague or evasive. That is the behavior of a boy playing games. The goal of the Stoic man is to express genuine, well-observed curiosity about another person's character. The compliment should come from a real observation. Feigned mystery is a hollow trick that a woman of substance will see through instantly. Genuine curiosity, however, is a sign of an intelligent, perceptive, and engaged mind. One is an attempt to create a false sense of depth in yourself. The other is the ability to recognize true depth in someone else. Principle 2. The complement of recognition. Seeing beyond the surface. The second principle moves from intrigue to insight. It addresses the deep human craving to be understood for who we truly are behind the social mask we all wear. Most compliments focus on the mask, the beautiful face, the charming personality, the stylish clothes. The compliment of recognition, however, speaks to the person behind it. It is the art of seeing a quality in her that she is proud of, but that most people overlook. This is the essence of the phrase, "I feel like there's a side of you that most people never get to see." It is a powerful statement because it communicates empathy, perception, and exclusivity. You are telling her that you are not like the other men who see only the surface. You have seen something more. This form of compliment is effective because it validates her hidden identity. Perhaps she is known for being a tough, no-nonsense businesswoman, but you perceive a deep well of creativity and idealism she rarely shows. Perhaps she is known for being the fun, bubbly life of the party, but you recognize a fierce, strategic intelligence in the way she navigates social situations. By acknowledging this hidden quality, you create a powerful private bond. You become the one who gets her in a way no one else does. For a masterclass in this principle, we look to the Roman general Scipio Africanus during the Second Punic War. After conquering the city of New Carthage in Spain, his soldiers brought him the spoils of war. Among them was a young woman of such breathtaking beauty that all his men were captivated. They presented her to Scipio as his personal prize. This was standard practice. She was his to do with as he pleased. But Scipio, a student of philosophy and a man of immense character, chose a different path. He made inquiries and learned that she was a princess, betrothed to a powerful Celtiberian chieftain named Lucius. Scipio then did something unprecedented. He summoned both the young woman's parents and her fiancé, Lucius. Lucius arrived, expecting to have to plead for his beloved's life, fearing the worst. The parents brought a vast sum of gold as a ransom. Scipio first addressed the young woman not as a prize of war, but as a person, assuring her that she had been treated with as much respect as if she were in her own parents' home. Then he turned to Lucius. He saw past the defeated enemy chieftain and recognized the man, a man deeply in love. He did not see a barbarian to be dominated, but a noble soul to be respected. He said to Lucius, "I am giving you your bride, untouched and unharmed. The only price I ask for this gift is that you become a friend to Rome." He then gestured to the gold ransom her parents had brought and gifted it to Lucius as a wedding present. In that moment, Scipio did not just see a beautiful captive. He saw her devotion. He did not just see an enemy chieftain. He saw a man's honor and love. He saw the hidden virtues behind the superficial roles of victor and vanquished. Lucius, overwhelmed by this act of profound recognition, left the Roman camp proclaiming that a god had come to Spain. He returned a few days later with 1,400 of his own elite cavalrymen to join Scipio's army, becoming one of Rome's most loyal allies. Scipio won a war not just by conquering cities, but by recognizing the hidden character in his enemies. This is the Stoic ideal in action. To apply this principle, you must first cultivate your own perception. Pay attention. Listen more than you speak. Look for the virtues she values in herself, but that others may not praise. Does she speak with passion about her discipline at the gym? Acknowledge her dedication, not just its results. Does she show quiet courage in a difficult family situation? Recognize her strength, not just her smile. When the moment is right, perhaps after she shares something personal, you can frame your observation. You could say, "I really admire your resilience. I don't think most people realize how much strength that takes." Or, "You have a very creative way of looking at the world. It's a side of you I hope more people get to see." Notice these are not about you. They are about her. You are holding up a mirror, not to her face, but to her character. This plants a seed in her mind that you are a man of rare perception, one who is worthy of her, showing the parts of herself she hides from the world. The nuance: insight versus presumption. The line between genuine recognition and arrogant presumption is critical. Never tell a woman who she is. Do not say, "I know you have a hidden side." This is condescending. Instead, frame your compliment as your own perception, your own feeling. Use phrases like, "I get the sense that," or "what I admire is." This makes it an offering, not a declaration. Furthermore, the compliment must be based on real evidence. Baseless flattery is transparent and cheap. If you tell her she has a hidden creative side without her ever having mentioned anything artistic, it will sound like a generic, hollow line. True recognition requires observation, empathy, and the humility to present your insight as a personal perception, not an absolute truth. Principle 3. The complement of polarity, appreciating complexity. The third principle is the most advanced and requires the most social intelligence. It involves acknowledging the powerful, complex, and sometimes contradictory nature of a person. The source material frames this as, "I can't decide if you're trouble or if you're exactly what I need." This language is deliberately provocative and aims to create a push-pull dynamic. But the underlying Stoic principle is not about creating drama. It is about appreciating the beautiful and challenging complexity of a vibrant personality. Most people are drawn to what is simple and easy. But a life of substance involves engaging with complexity. A truly compelling woman is rarely simple. She may be both fiercely independent and deeply caring. She might be a logical scientist who loves chaotic, abstract art. She might be gentle and kind, but possess a sharp, dangerous wit. To acknowledge this polarity is to tell her that you are not intimidated by her full spectrum. You see her fire and her warmth, her light and her shadow, and you are intrigued by the whole person. It signals that you are a man of sufficient strength and depth to not need a simple, one-dimensional partner. This principle is embodied in the complex relationship between the Stoic philosopher Seneca and the women of the Julio-Claudian court. Consider Agrippina the Younger, the mother of Emperor Nero. By all historical accounts, Agrippina was a formidable and ruthless woman. She was ambitious, brilliant, and utterly relentless in her pursuit of power for herself and her son. Most men in the Roman Senate saw her only as trouble, a dangerous, manipulative woman who constantly subverted the norms of Roman patriarchy. And she was dangerous. But Seneca, who served as Nero's tutor and advisor, had a more nuanced view. While he was certainly aware of her capacity for ruthlessness, his writings and his actions suggest he also possessed a deep, if grudging, respect for her incredible abilities. He saw not just her ambition, but her fierce maternal devotion. He saw not just her cunning, but her sharp political intellect, which rivaled that of any man in the Senate. He had to engage with her not as a one-dimensional villain, but as a complex and powerful force of nature. His compliment to her was not in empty words, but in the very act of taking her seriously, of engaging with her on an intellectual and political level as an equal, something few other men dared to do. He saw her polarity. She was both a grave threat to his ideals and the very reason he held his position. She was both trouble and exactly what he needed to navigate the treacherous waters of the imperial court. Applying this principle requires courage. It works best in a playful, flirtatious context where a certain level of comfort has been established. It is not something to be used with a stranger. Imagine you are in a spirited debate with a woman. She is sharp, challenging your points, and witty. Instead of becoming defensive, you could pause, smile, and say with genuine admiration, "I can't decide if debating you is incredibly frustrating or my new favorite thing." Or perhaps she does something bold and unexpected. Instead of being shocked, you can look at her with a mix of amusement and respect and say, "You have a talent for keeping people on their toes. It's both terrifying and impressive." The key is the tone. It must be delivered with a smile, with warmth, and from a place of genuine appreciation for her spirit. You are not judging her or trying to put her in a box. You are enjoying the challenge she presents. You are telling her that her complexity doesn't scare you, it excites you. The nuance, appreciating spirit versus glorifying instability. This is the most important distinction of all. There is a universe of difference between appreciating a woman's strong, complex spirit and glorifying genuine emotional instability or toxic behavior. The Stoic man appreciates a woman who is a worthy partner in a debate, who is bold, who is unpredictable in a life-affirming way. He does not find attraction in drama, chaos for its own sake, or disrespect. This compliment should never be used to reward bad behavior. If a woman is being genuinely disrespectful, the correct Stoic response is to create distance, not to playfully compliment her trouble. Appreciating polarity is about admiring the vibrant energy of a well-adjusted, powerful woman. It is never an excuse to romanticize toxicity. Principle 4, the complement of trust, recognizing virtue through deeds. The final principle transcends words entirely. It is the most powerful and the most stoic form of recognition, because it is demonstrated not through speech, but through action. Words are cheap. A man can say anything, but his actions reveal his true judgments. The complement of trust is the silent, profound acknowledgement of another person's character, competence, and virtue by placing your faith in their actions and decisions. It is you, through your deeds, saying, "I see your quality, and I am willing to depend on it. I respect your judgment." This is the rarest and most impactful compliment because it involves a degree of personal risk. To trust someone with a responsibility, to defer to their expertise, or to count on their character is to make yourself vulnerable. It is an act of courage that communicates a level of respect far deeper than any spoken praise. It tells a person not that you think they are capable, but that you know they are. It is the ultimate expression of show, don't tell. For a supreme example of this principle, we must turn to one of the most consequential decisions in the history of the Roman Empire, the succession of the Emperor Hadrian. Hadrian was a brilliant but complex ruler. As he neared the end of his life in 138 AD, he had no biological son. The stability of the entire known world rested on his choice of a successor. His first choice had died unexpectedly. Now, old and sick, he had to make a decision that would echo for a generation. The court was filled with ambitious senators, powerful generals, and distant relatives, all jockeying for position. Hadrian ignored them all. His gaze fell upon a 51-year-old senator named Titus Aurelius Fulvus Boionius Arrius Antoninus, known to history as Antoninus Pius. Antoninus was not a military hero. He was not a charismatic firebrand. He was not a close blood relative. He was, by all accounts, a man of quiet, unimpeachable integrity. He had managed his own estates with justice, served as a proconsul in Asia with fairness, and carried himself with a calm dignity that was rare in the Roman court. Hadrian had watched him for years, observing his character not in his words, but in his consistent, virtuous actions. In a move that stunned the political elite, Hadrian adopted Antoninus as his son and heir. But he added a condition, a further act of profound, forward-looking trust. He required Antoninus to, in turn, adopt two sons of his own, the young Marcus Aurelius and Lucius Verus. In this one decision, Hadrian did not just choose a successor, he orchestrated the future. He complimented Antoninus not with a speech, but with the ultimate act of trust. He placed the fate of the empire in his hands and trusted his judgment to groom the next generation. It was a silent acknowledgement that said, "I have seen your virtue. I trust your character completely. You are the man for this." This single act of trust ushered in the era of the 5 good emperors, one of the most peaceful and prosperous periods in human history. How do we apply this principle today? It requires that we shift our mindset from giving praise to giving responsibility. Look for opportunities to demonstrate your trust in a woman's character and competence. If you are planning a trip together, instead of micromanaging every detail, you might say, "You have amazing judgment when it comes to things like this. Why don't you take the lead on planning the itinerary? I trust your instincts completely." If she is facing a difficult decision at her job, instead of immediately offering solutions, listen carefully and say, "That's a tough situation, but I have complete faith in your ability to navigate it. You always make wise choices." It can be as simple as asking for her genuine advice on a problem you are facing, and then actually taking that advice. These actions communicate a compliment that words cannot touch. You are telling her that you see her as an equal, a capable partner whose mind and character you deeply respect. It shows that your attraction is not just for her beauty or her charm, but for the very substance of who she is. This is the bedrock of true partnership. The nuance, empowering trust versus Lazy abdication. The crucial difference lies in the intention. The complement of trust is an active, mindful decision to empower someone you respect. It comes from a place of strength and recognition. The dark shadow of this is lazy abdication. This is when a man offloads responsibility onto a woman, not because he trusts her, but because he cannot be bothered to handle it himself. This is not a compliment. It is a burden. Empowering trust says, "I respect your capability so much that I want you to lead in this." Lazy abdication says, "I don't want to do this, so you do it." One builds respect and attraction. The other builds resentment. A Stoic man is always a man of action and responsibility. He only yields that responsibility as a conscious act of faith in another's proven virtue. So we see that the most powerful compliments are not compliments at all. They are acts of perception. They are the result of a disciplined mind that seeks to understand, not just to flatter. To see the hidden depth in a person, to recognize the quiet virtues behind their social mask, to appreciate the full complex spectrum of their spirit, and to demonstrate your trust through your actions. This is the Stoic art of attraction. It is not about making a woman obsess over you. It is about becoming the kind of man whose recognition she will value, respect, and perhaps seek. It is about mastering yourself so you may truly see others. If you found value in this deeper look at communication, be sure to subscribe to Stoic Heart for more wisdom on mastering life. And let us know in the comments, which of these principles of perception will you focus on cultivating? Until next time, stay strong, stay grounded, and seek to understand.